Now you know how a II-V-1 is constructed in music, I'd like to build on this and look at actually applying this new knowledge on the instrument. To begin with though, I'd just like to show you a few ways of better understanding key signatures using a II-V-1 chord sequence, and introduce you to some new musical terms along the way.
We've already looked at how dominant 7th chords naturally want to resolve to a major 1 chord, and expanding this a little further, this release of tension or resolution in music is what's known as a cadence. A cadence can be described as a sequence of 2 or more chords that lead the listener back to the harmonic centre, or tonic, of a piece of music. For example, our II-V-1 sequence in the key of C major leads us naturally back to the C major chord, which in this instance is the tonic. Now, there are many different types of cadence too, some sounding much stronger and more obvious than others, which can help indicate to a listener whether a piece of music is ending, or on the other hand, whether it's going to continue. Looking at our II-V-1 chord progression as a cadence for a moment, this particular sequence is what's referred to as a perfect cadence. And perfect cadences are generally thought of as being the strongest type of cadence, because they contain a dominant 7th chord resolving to a major 1 chord. In terms of music, these perfect cadences are more likely to occur either at the very end of songs to finish a piece, or used to round off sections of music, like a verse or a chorus, for example. So far, we've looked at a II-V-1 in the key of C major, but working out the chords contained in II-V-1 progressions in any of the other major keys is very easy to do on the bass, and is something worth spending some time on and getting familiar with. So, for example, let's work out the chords contained in a II-V-1 chord progression in the key of G major. As we learnt earlier, we now know that the 1 chord is our tonic and harmonic centre. So all we have to do is look for this tonic note on the bass, in this case a G. So whatever key we're in, just look for the root or tonic note of the 1 chord. From here, finding the root notes of the 2 and the 5 chords is simple. Just locate the 2nd and 5th notes of the tonic's major scale, which hopefully you can see is a G major scale. So the 2nd is an A and the 5th is a D. Okay, with any II-V-1 progression in a major key, we also know that an extended 2 chord will always be a minor 7th. By extending our minor chord, remember, we're adding a 4th note to a minor triad, creating our minor 7th chord. So recalling the note of A, which was the 2nd note, the opening chord of a II-V-1 in the key of G major would be A minor 7th. Similarly, from what we've learned, we also know that the 5 chord in a major key is a dominant 7th type chord, and recalling the 5th note of our tonic scale, the note of D, the 5 chord of a II-V-1 in G major would be a D7. Now, our D7 naturally wants to resolve back to a G major chord, or if we choose to fully extend it into a 4-note chord, a G major 7th. So writing this out, a II-V-1 chord progression in the key of G major would look like this: A minor 7th, D7, and resolving back to G major 7th.